Hello. The story I'm going to tell you today unfolds on Jeju Island, located in the Southwest Sea of South Korea, with a total area of 19.86 billion square feet, making it the country's largest island. Jeju Island not only enjoys a mild climate but also boasts many breathtaking natural landscapes such as Mount Halasan in the center, Songsan Ilchulbong Peak in the east, and Jeongbong Falls in the south. It's considered an ideal destination for tourism and relaxation. In the northeastern part of Jeju Island, there lived a woman named Koh Yu Jeong. She was born on February 2, 1983, making her 36 years old at the time, standing 5 feet 3 inches tall and weighing 110 pounds. Koh Yu Jeong had 2 younger brothers. Her parents divorced shortly after the birth of her youngest brother. Her father operated a car rental business on Jeju Island, and her family was wealthy with properties on both Jeju Island and in Gimpo City. After the divorce, her father remarried, and Koh Yu Jeong and her brothers lived with their father and stepmother. Koh Yu Jeong was intelligent and excelled academically. Her classmates described her as having a normal yet sweet and lively personality. After graduating from high school, she was admitted to Jeju National University, the top university on the island, and one of the top 20 universities in South Korea. During her university years, Koh participated in volunteer events on campus where she met Kang, who was studying in the same school and was the same age as her. They shared similar interests and gradually developed feelings for each other. Over the next 6 years, they wrote their beautiful love story, spending time together volunteering abroad and traveling. Eventually, when they turned 30, they decided to get married in June 2013. A grand wedding ceremony was organized for the couple on Jeju Island, followed by a blissful honeymoon. However, loving someone and being married are entirely different things, as they discovered on the last day of their honeymoon when they had a heated argument at the airport. The cause was Koh's insistence on shopping at the duty-free store, despite the plane being ready to depart. By the time the final boarding call was made, they were still in disagreement. Kang, frustrated, decided to board the plane back home alone. However, according to the airline's regulations for round-trip tickets, both passengers must board together. Reluctantly, Kang had to find Koh, and as a result, they both missed their flight. After returning to Jeju Island, the storm temporarily subsided, and they began a new life. That time, Kang was pursuing a doctoral program at the university and did not have a stable job, relying mainly on scholarships and part-time work. In contrast, Koh came from a wealthy family and did not need to work. Her father occasionally provided financial support, but Koh spent money freely on unnecessary things, much to Kang's dismay. Kang often complained about his wife's extravagant spending, despite South Korea generally adhering to chauvinistic ideals. Chauvinism is an extreme nationalism that believes one's own group or nation is superior and righteous, while other groups or nations are weak, inferior, and contemptible. However, due to their different family backgrounds, their marital dynamics underwent subtle changes. Koh never did housework. Every day, Kang would go to work in the lab, and when he came home, he would have to clean up all the trash in the house, the kitchen, etc. Since they got married, the two started having serious conflict. A year after their marriage in November 2014, they had a son. Raising a child added a considerable financial burden, pushing their economic situation into crisis. Koh was dissatisfied with their circumstances and her temper grew worse. Whenever things didn't go her way, she would scold her husband and even scratch and hit him. There was one incident where Koh, displeased with Kang, threw a mobile phone at him, injuring his eye. Despite having dated for 6 years before marriage and knowing each other fairly well, Koh seemed to become a completely different person post-marriage, aggressive and unable to control her temper. Kang's friends noticed scars on his body and, after asking, Kang confided in them about his situation. His friends were puzzled and asked if she had exhibited such behavior during their 6-year courtship. Kang firmly replied, no, expressing that it was likely postpartum depression causing her stress and that she would eventually recover. Thus, he endured her unreasonable beatings without resisting. However, Koh's condition did not improve. Once, she even picked up a knife, held their 1-year-old son in her arms, and threatened, "Let's die together." After witnessing this, Kang was terrified. Despite enduring 3 years of marital instability, he believed patience would make things better. But ultimately, he could no longer tolerate his wife's treatment and filed for divorce in 2016. Koh did not agree to the divorce, but the case was taken to court, and she eventually accepted the divorce, gaining custody of their son. Given Kang's unstable income and Koh's financially strong family background, the court awarded custody to Koh, allowing Kang visitation rights twice a month. However, this marked the beginning of a new nightmare. They divorced in November 2017, and that same year, Koh sought new happiness and remarried. Her new husband, Hung, 35, worked at the local fire department and had also gone through a failed marriage, having a 5-year-old son, the same age as Koh's son. After getting married, the couple entrusted their son to the grandparents for upbringing. Koh moved from Jeju City to Cheongju City to live with her husband. Cheongju City is located in central South Korea and is the capital of North Chungcheong Province. Koh and Hong both had high hopes that their second marriage would bring them happiness. However, one day, Koh herself shattered the beautiful love and happy life that was within reach. Next, let's turn back time to May 27, 2019, to delve into the details of the incident. On Monday, May 27, 2019, Jeju City Police Station received a report from Kang's younger brother. He informed the police that his older brother had been missing for several days and was unreachable. He knew that his brother's last whereabouts were a few days ago, when he mentioned he was going to meet his son, but there had been no contact since. Kang's younger brother suspected something bad might have happened to his brother, and hoped the police could help find him. The missing person, Kang, was 36 years old, divorced, and living alone. 2 days earlier, on May 25, 2019, he had driven alone to meet his son. For 2 years after their divorce, Koh harbored resentment toward her ex-husband. Kang had repeatedly requested to meet his son, but Koh had always refused for various reasons, even ignoring his phone calls. Kang had once gone to her house, but Koh had adamantly refused to open the door. To pursue his doctoral studies, Kang lived frugally and sent Koh 400,000 won, about $287 at current rates, every month without fail. On holidays or his son's birthdays, Kang always sent gifts. He missed his son dearly and longed to meet him. Koh inexplicably always refused. Kang felt increasingly distressed over the 2 years of not seeing his son, and finally had to file a petition with the court, hoping to gain visitation rights. Court ordered Koh to allow Kang to meet his son by May 25, 2019. Reluctantly, Koh agreed but remained uncomfortable. On May 25, 2019, Koh and Kang had agreed that she would bring their son to an amusement park Gwipo City south of Jeju Island for the meeting. This would be the first time Kang saw his son in 2 years. Kang's younger brother reported that around 8 p.m. he called his brother, but there was no answer. At 9:25 p.m. he sent a message asking if everything was settled. And at 10:25 p.m. he received a reply from his brother saying, "It's done. I have work to do at the lab and am on my way there. My phone is about to die." After that, Kang could no longer be reached, and his phone was always off. Family initially thought Kang was still at his school's lab until 2 days later, on May 27, 2019, when Kang's younger brother went to the school to look for him. It was then discovered that Kang had not been at the lab and had not attended school in the past 2 days. After a preliminary investigation, police suspected that Kang might have had a dispute with his ex-wife during the visit to see his son and turned off his phone. Thus, they tried to contact Koh to understand the situation. Facing the police's questions, Koh appeared very calm and confident. She stated, "On May 25, 2019, I took my son to meet my ex-husband. We went to an amusement park and then to a pre-booked inn. However, that night, when we went to bed, he tried to take advantage of me. After I resisted vehemently, he attempted to escape through the back door. My son and I checked out the next day and left, but he never reappeared." According to Koh's account, the police believed that Kang might have gone into hiding after the incident with his ex-wife and would return once the storm had passed. Contrary to the police's speculation, Kang's younger brother disagreed with their perspective. He personally went to the inn where his brother had stayed that day to investigate. Koh had rented an inn without surveillance cameras, but fortunately, a camera was located 30 meters away from the inn. With the permission of the nearby inn's owner, he obtained the surveillance footage, and everything was different from Koh's account. Strangely, he only saw his brother entering the inn, but never saw him leaving. Additionally, he discovered that Koh had not told the truth, because the surveillance video showed that Koh did not check out the next day, as she mentioned, but stayed for another day and a half before leaving. The owner of the guest house where Koh rented a room also mentioned that Koh requested not to be disturbed during their stay. This made Kang's younger brother even more uneasy, sensing something very wrong. He immediately handed over the surveillance video to the police. The footage showed Koh and his son leaving in the morning of May 26, 2019, but Kang was nowhere to be seen afterward. Koh then returned to the guest house. At 12 noon on May 27, 2019, Koh left the guest house alone, burying his luggage. When reviewing the video, the police also realized that Kang's disappearance might not be as simple as they initially thought. Recognizing the shortcomings of the initial investigation, the case was immediately transferred to the Criminal Investigation Department. Criminal investigators went to the motel and conducted a luminol test in the room where Kang stayed on that day. Luminol is a relatively stable synthetic organic compound that can help detect bloodstains that have been cleaned and are not visible to the naked eye. Through the luminol test, the investigators found a large amount of bloodstains in the living room, bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom of the motel. Additionally, they discovered some bloodstains that were visible to the naked eye. Laboratory tests confirmed that the blood belonged to Kang, Koh's ex-husband. Not only that, they also detected the presence of sleeping pills in Kang's blood. Based on the clues the police had, Koh, 36 years old, was highly suspected of committing the crime. Police then quickly raided Koh's private residence in Cheongju City, during which they found suspicious tools in her car. However, Koh was not at home, and the investigators continued to monitor and stake out the location. At 10:32 a.m. the next day, June 1, 2019, Koh appeared at the parking lot of her house. Police immediately arrested her on suspicion of attempted murder. That day, Koh's right hand was bandaged, and she was holding a cardboard box and preparing to take out the trash. Koh denied the accusation of murdering her ex-husband on the spot. However, on the way to the police station, a female officer pressed Koh, asking if she had killed her ex-husband. Koh calmly replied, "I killed him." Police found some dismemberment tools and a blood-stained towel in the trash can of the apartment where Koh lived. Tests showed that the blood on the towel belonged to Kang and contained traces of sleeping pill. 2 weeks before the incident, on May 10, 2019, Koh began using her phone and computer to search for keywords such as murder tools, dismemberment, sleeping pills, and human bone weight. A week before the incident, on May 17, 2019, Koh pretended to suffer from insomnia and received a prescription for sleeping pills from a hospital 20 kilometers away from her home. She then bought the sleeping pills at a nearby pharmacy and drove across a ferry to her hometown on Jeju Island. 5 days before the incident, on May 20, 2019, Koh contacted her ex-husband and deliberately booked a room at a remote B&B without surveillance cameras. On May 22, 2019, Koh bought knives, brushes, cleaning agents, bleach, and other items at a supermarket on Jeju Island. When paying, she did not forget to accumulate shopping points. 2 days before the incident happened, on the night of May 23, 2019, Koh still attended a party with friends. During the party, she chatted happily with friends without anyone knowing that a meticulously planned murder was about to be executed by her. On the day of the incident, at 8:30 a.m. on May 25, 2019, Kang dressed up nicely, took the gift he bought for his child, and left the house. He was as happy as a festival because he finally got to see his beloved son after several years apart. Kang drove away from his home in Jeju City alone. The dash cam in his car showed that he was driving on the road at 9:30 a.m. in a very good mood. He was so happy that he was humming a joyful tune while muttering to himself, "I'm going to see my son." His destination was an amusement park in Seogwipo City in the southern part of Jeju Island. At 11:30 a.m., Kang arrived at the amusement park and met his son as he had wished. They had a wonderful time together. Although Koh always had a grudge against Kang and a murder plan was brewing in her mind, outwardly she pretended to be calm and gentle, showing no unusual signs. Koh's indifferent psychological state shocked the police during the case handling process and misled the investigation direction. At 3 p.m., the three of them left the amusement park and went to a supermarket in Seogwipo City to shop. At 4:20 p.m., after a fun day, the three of them got into Koh's car and drove to a guest house in Jocheon-ok, Jeju City, which Koh had booked in advance. At 9 p.m., Koh put her son to sleep first, then pretended to care and cooked curry rice for Kang. However, this was not ordinary curry rice. It contained a large amount of sleeping pills. Feeling drowsy and falling asleep early, Kang did not know that the moment he fell asleep was the end of his life. Taking advantage of her ex-husband's drowsiness, Koh suddenly stabbed him. Based on the bloodstain analysis at the scene, it showed that before dying, Kang realized Koh was attacking him and tried to resist. Unfortunately, the sleeping pills were taking strong effect, rendering Kang helpless. He died tragically at the hands of his ex-wife. At 9:30 p.m., Kang's younger brother sent a message to Kang's phone. "Has today's trip ended?" At this time, Koh was in the room thinking about how to conceal her crime. At 10:30 p.m., Koh used Kang's mobile phone and imitated his tone to reply to the message. "It's done. I just stopped by the lab for a bit. My phone's about to die." The day after the incident, on the morning of May 26, 2019, Koh took her son to her parents' house. After that, she returned to the guest house to deal with the body and checked out at noon the next day. According to surveillance video, she took several garbage bags from the room, and a suitcase was then loaded into the trunk of a car before being taken to a garbage collection station to dispose of a few bags of trash. Around 1 p.m., Koh checked into another motel and took a large suitcase out of the car. Surveillance video showed her still holding Kang's mobile phone, chatting with her friend as if nothing had happened. At 3 p.m., Koh changed her clothes and left the motel. At 6 p.m., she returned to the motel. By comparison, police discovered that she had wrapped herself in bandages. According to medical records, Koh had gone to the hospital for treatment of stab wounds, with particularly severe injuries on the outer right arm that required stitches. In other words, during that time, Koh continued to dismember some body parts in the room and accidentally injured herself. 2 days after the incident, on May 28, 2019, Koh went to the supermarket where she had previously purchased supplies to return unused items, including a bottle of cleaning detergent. At the same time, she bought dozens of special trash bags, a backpack, plastic gloves, perfume, and cosmetics at the supermarket. At 8:30 p.m., Koh drove to the ferry terminal and bought a ticket for the ferry from Jeju Island to Wando Island. The surveillance cameras captured her entire ticket purchase process. An hour into the ferry ride, Koh took several unidentified bags out of her suitcase and threw them into the sea when no one was looking. Then, Koh used her phone to purchase a large cutting knife on the ferry, with the delivery address being an apartment in Gimpo City. At 11 p.m., ferry docked, and she drove through the night, arriving in Gimpo, a satellite city of Seoul, following morning. She then went to the supermarket to buy dustproof clothing. After returning home, Koh continued to dismember the body, placing the parts into garbage bags, which she then disposed of at the apartment building's trash station. The police tried to trace the movement of the trash bags and eventually discovered some bones at a waste collection company in Seogu, Incheon. These bones were later confirmed to be animal bones. On May 30, 2019, Koh drove to her husband's house in Cheongju. She confided in her current husband, Hong, that she was almost raped by her ex-husband while in Jeju Island. She even showed her husband 2 text messages sent by Kang. "I'm sorry, I got too agitated last night. For the sake of my career, could you please not reveal this incident?" Of course, those 2 messages were sent by Koh using Kang's mobile phone at that time. Koh was injured, so Hong trusted his wife's whispers. In his anger, He immediately called Kang, but the recipient's phone was off. Consequently, Hong continued to call Kang's younger brother, scolding and accusing him of his brother's heinous actions. This shows that Koh was very cunning and frightening. After Koh was arrested, she admitted to killing her ex-husband, but consistently claimed that it was her ex-husband who intended to assault her. And she only acted in self-defense, which led to his unexpected death, because she had no other choice at the time. However, this was just Koh's unilateral statement without any evidence. Based on the evidence gathered, the police believed that Koh had planned the crime, and her motive was that her ex-husband was interfering with her current marital life. Koh had obtained custody of their son after the divorce, but had not allowed her ex-husband to visit their son for the past 2 years. On the final day, she was forced to let them meet, and she had meticulously planned to execute her plot to remove her ex-husband from the world, to avoid future complications and entanglements. The police believe that Koh dismembered her ex-husband after killing him, and the body parts were mainly discarded in 3 locations: Jeju City, the ferry route between Jeju Port and Wando Port, and Gimpo City. The Coast Guard conducted searches in the sea near the ferry route for any floating items or debris that might have washed ashore, but surprisingly, it could not find any body parts of Kang. The police estimate that within 5 days, Koh covered nearly half of South Korea and discarded garbage bags containing body parts at about 30 different disposal sites. After the case was reported in the media, it caused a massive shock throughout South Korea. The public could not believe the cruelty and barbarism of this woman. The lawyer who initially defended Koh had to give up defending her due to public pressure. Even more shocking, after committing the crime, she calmly went to buy crime tools and accumulated points at a supermarket, and even boldly returned the bleach bottle that was not used in the crime to the supermarket, which astonished even the experts, who believed that this was not an action of a normal person. They suspected that Koh might be suffering from borderline personality disorder. This syndrome is characterized by extreme sensitivity in relationships, unstable or vague emotions, and unclear life goals. Koh's action of returning items bought to commit a crime at the supermarket is considered an example of borderline personality disorder. She exhibited impulsive and violent behaviors such as murder and brutal dismemberment. However, after committing the crime, she could calmly carry on as if nothing had happened. Experts believe that borderline personality disorder is largely influenced by inappropriate parental upbringing during childhood. In fact, a few days after Koh was arrested on June 5, 2019, the Jeju police requested the release of Koh's personal information to the media, as per the request of the deceased's family. In reality, this information was made public before the cameras. Koh always covered her face and requested that the police not disclose her personal information. She stated to the police, "I would rather die than reveal my face because of my son." The police agreed to conceal her face as much as possible, but before they could release any information, some internet heroes managed to find and post Koh's photo and name online. Soon, the term "Evil Witch Koh Yu Jeong" became widely known across the country and was a hot search topic for several days. On August 27, 2019, Kang's funeral was held at the Jeju City Funeral Home. However, Kang's remains were never found. At the family's funeral, they could only hold the ceremony with the 7 hairs that the police had collected from his favorite hat. With some of his belongings placed inside the casket, the police determined this to be a carefully planned murder. However, Koh steadfastly insisted that her actions were in self-defense. So who is telling the truth? The victim, Kang, was 1.8 meters tall, weighed 80 kilograms, and had a robust physique, while the perpetrator, Koh Yu Jeong, was only 1.6 meters tall, weighed 50 kilograms, and had a petite frame. It is hard to imagine how a small woman like her could have killed such a tall and strong man. Police did not rule out the possibility of an accomplice, but Koh maintained that she acted alone and remained silent about other details of the case. Let's rewind to 2 months before Kang's incident. On Saturday, March 2, 2019, 10 a.m., Han woke up in bed and saw his son lying face down beside him. Upon closer inspection, he noticed that his son's mouth was bleeding. Kang quickly checked and was horrified to discover that his son was no longer breathing, and his heart had stopped. Working at the fire department and having some knowledge of first aid, Kang promptly began performing CPR and asked his wife to call for emergency help. When the medical personnel arrived, they confirmed that Kang's son had already passed away. The police then began investigating the case and found out that both Koh and Kang were on their second marriages, and each had a child from their previous relationships. 2 children were of the same age. After marrying, Koh and Kang sent their sons to be cared for by their parents and lived a private life. Later, Koh became pregnant but unfortunately suffered a miscarriage, which took a toll on her mental state. Her behavior gradually changed, becoming irritable and argumentative with Kang. On October 18, 2018, Koh and Kang had a fierce argument at Koh's house. Angered, Koh left the house. 5 days later, on October 23, 2018, Koh reached out to Kang, accusing him of posting information about her and their son online. Kang did not understand why, as he only wanted to share with family and friends that he had 2 sons and was not trying to hide his remarriage. This explanation did not satisfy Koh, and they continued to have a cold war, each staying in their own place. A week later, on October 31, 2018, Koh returned home while Kang was at work. He took the computer from their house and left. During their separation, Kang continuously tried to call Koh to reconcile. Nearly a month later, on November 14, 2018, after Kang's sincere persuasion, Koh agreed to return home to Cheongju. After returning, Koh told Kang that they didn't need to have more children and could bring their respective sons to live together as a family of 4. Kang was surprised by his wife's proposal, as he had often suggested bringing the children home after their marriage. Koh had always refused. After returning home, Koh finally agreed happily, which made Kang feel that his wife was changing for the better. 3 months later, on February 28, 2019, Kang brought his son to their home in Cheongju, but Koh delayed bringing her own son. After the son arrived, Kang was delighted, but on the first night, Koh claimed to be unwell and asked to sleep in a separate room. Kang, understanding the need for time to adjust, slept with his son in the master bedroom while Koh slept alone in the adjacent room. 2 days later, at about 8 p.m. on March 1, 2019, Koh prepared curry for dinner, which both Kang and his son enjoyed. At 9:45 p.m., Kang's son complained of being sleepy, so Kang took him to the bedroom. After his son fell asleep, Kang went back to the living room to read. At that time, Koh brought him a cup of hot tea, and Kang enjoyed the tea while reading, feeling at ease. At midnight, Kang felt sleepy and returned to the bedroom, lying down next to his son and falling asleep. The next morning, Kang woke up as usual and looked at the clock. It was already 7:30 a.m. The room was quite dark because the curtains hadn't been opened. He turned to see his son still sleeping soundly next to him, since it was Saturday and he didn't have to go to work, so Kang continued to sleep until 10 a.m. When he woke up, he discovered that his son had passed away. Following the incident, the police interrogated both him and his wife. Kang told the police that his son had eaten curry rice the night before, played with him for a while before going to sleep, and that he found his son deceased the next morning. Koh stated that she had not slept in the same room with her husband and the stepson that night, so she did not know what had happened in the room or why the boy suddenly vomited blood and died. After the incident, Koh was quickly cleared as a suspect, while Kang remained under suspicion by the Cheongju City Police. Investigators believed that Kang had not performed CPR on his son, but emergency medical personnel who were dispatched to the scene confirmed that when they arrived, Kang was performing artificial respiration on his son. Kang was investigated 5 times by the police regarding his son's death and agreed to a lie detector test, which he passed successfully. The autopsy report revealed that the cause of his son's death was asphyxiation. The report did not mention the presence of any drugs or toxins in his system. No one else had visited their home that night except for the couple, and they had no motive to harm their child. After a period of investigation, the police closed the case and concluded that Kang had accidentally stepped on his son's back while sleeping, leading to the boy's asphyxiation and death. estimated to have occurred around 5 a.m. Hong woke up once around 7:30 a.m., by which time his son had already died, but due to the dim light in the room, he did not realize it until 10 a.m. when he fully woke up. After the case, Koh's ex-husband was murdered, and Hong began to reflect deeply and found the situation terrifying. He thought back to when Koh had fed him and his son curry for dinner, just as she had intended to kill Kang. On the night before his son passed away, Koh had also cooked curry for them and had given him a cup of tea afterward. After drinking the tea, Hong started to feel drowsy and remembered the situation from that time. Hong was shocked to realize and expressed, "I'm not sure if Koh put sleeping pills in the curry, but it seems too strange to be just a coincidence. My son fell asleep 2 hours after eating the curry." The investigation revealed that 3 months before Hong's son passed away, Koh had bought some sleeping pills in Cheongju to treat her insomnia. This was around the time when Koh had left home and then returned. There were rumors that when Hong woke up, he found one of his legs on top of his son. This was a statement implying that Hong acknowledged his negligence had caused his son's death. However, Hong stated, "I never said that." And even the description of the blood, police statements, and Hong's testimony were inconsistent. Hong claimed that there was so much blood on the bed that it soaked into the sheets and mattress, but the police never paid attention to these pieces of evidence. Even after the investigation was concluded, they allowed Koh to take the sheets and mattress home, which Koh later discarded. Hong expressed doubts about the autopsy results of his son. According to the autopsy report, there was a straight dent on the boy's back. Hong argued that if he had placed his foot on his son's back, the dent should have been a puncture from top to bottom, not a straight dent. At that time, the police had not provided the final and complete autopsy report. It wasn't until June 1, 2019, when Koh was arrested, that Hong received the final and complete autopsy report of his son due to public pressure. The Cheongju City Police reopened the investigation into his son's case, and investigators went to Jeju Prison to interrogate Koh. Facing the police's questions, Koh firmly denied any involvement in the death of the child. So can an adult accidentally suffocate a child while sleeping? The answer is yes, but certain conditions must be met. The adult must be in a deep sleep, and the child must be very small or exceptionally frail, unable to withstand external pressure. Previously, the investigation concluded that Hong had accidentally suffocated his son by pressing his left leg against him while sleeping on his side. However, Hong stated that while sleeping, he maintains a certain distance from his son, even when turning over. In such cases, it is impossible for him to press both legs onto his son. At most, it would be just one leg. Hong is 1.68 meters tall and weighs 65 kilograms, while his son is 98 centimeters tall and weighs 24 kilograms. The maximum weight of Hong's entire left leg when pressing onto an object is 7 kilograms. This 7 kilograms would be distributed across the contact area between his thigh and his son's back, as well as the contact area between his son's torso and the mattress. Pressure applied to critical areas of the child, such as the nose, mouth, or chest, would be minimized. Therefore, experts suggest that the likelihood of the child suffocating from the pressure of that weight is very small, unless the child was unconscious due to medication, or if the mouth and nose were obstructed by the mattress, preventing the child from moving. If this is the case, the incident was certainly not an accidental death, but rather a carefully planned murder. According to the latest autopsy results of Hong's son, there was a small bruise on the child's back, believed to be caused by strong external force. Based on the shape of the bloodstain on the child's face, it appears that the external force only occurred after the child had died, indicating no signs of struggling or movement that would have led to smudged blood. Excluding the possibility that Hong, while sleeping in the room, was the perpetrator, the only suspect could be Koh, who was sleeping in another room that night. She had not slept but waited for Hong and his son to fall into a deep sleep before taking action. According to the investigation, a week before Hong's son died, Koh had searched for the keyword suffocation accident on the internet. In the early morning of the incident, Koh was active online, posting a message about selling some surplus baby items. When questioned by the police, Koh stated, "I woke up at 7 a.m., took a shower, and then turned on the computer to book a flight ticket." If Koh had gone to the room with the computer, she would have had to pass by Hong and his son's bedroom. That night, the bedroom door was wide open, and by that time, Hong's son had been dead for a few hours. Regarding this suspicion, Koh said, "I saw the two of them sleeping and did not want to disturb them. I did not notice anything unusual in the bedroom throughout the night." Subsequently, police raised a question. Assuming Koh was the perpetrator and had put sleeping pills into the curry, why did the forensic doctor not detect it? Regarding this issue, Hong provided a new clue to the police. Koh had studied biology in college and had the ability to make it difficult to detect the presence of sleeping pills before the incident. She had dyed Hong's hair, and dyeing hair to a certain extent could affect the detection of drugs in the body. After reopening the investigation, although all suspicions pointed to Koh, there was no evidence to convict her. Koh was detained on June 1, 2019. She has undergone dozens of trials. Koh steadfastly denied any involvement in the death of her stepson, only admitting to killing her ex-husband, claiming it was an act of self-defense when she was about to be assaulted. On February 20, 2020, the first instance court sentenced Koh Yu Jeong to life imprisonment for the murder of her ex-husband. On July 15, 2020, 5 months later, the appellate court upheld Koh's life sentence. By November 2020, the Supreme Court once again confirmed the life imprisonment sentence. In the case of Kang, no parts of his body were ever found from beginning to end. Koh was ultimately convicted based on a chain of evidence formed from numerous other pieces of evidence. The case is considered a classic example of a no-body murder case in South Korean criminal history and holds significant legal implications. After the incident, Hong filed for divorce from Koh and demanded she pay 30 million won, approximately 21,585 USD, current exchange rates, as alimony. Hong won the case and divorced Koh in October 2020. Regarding whether Koh killed Hong's son, from a judicial perspective, the evidence seems insufficient, and only that wicked woman knows the truth. Through this case, it cannot be denied that modern society places immense pressure on individuals. When one harbors distorted perceptions or feels unable to control their emotions, they should seek help from those around them in a timely manner. Otherwise, a distorted personality will only lead them further down a path of crime. Like Koh, she has destroyed her own life and that of her family. Her parents and younger brother will also face societal scorn, hatred, and even ostracism. They can no longer live peacefully with their current lives and may have to retreat to a distant place where no one knows them to start a new life. Thank you for following our podcast video on the Koh Yu Jeong case. This is a tragic and complex story. It makes us reflect on justice and compassion in society. If you found this video helpful and want to continue accompanying us in similar stories, please click the like button to support us. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts on the case, or share the topics you want us to explore in the future. And especially, don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our latest videos. Your support is the motivation for us to continue bringing quality and meaningful content. Thank you very much, and see you in the next videos.